Have you noticed the gaps on grocery store shelves recently? It's not your imagination. More and more Americans are seeing bare shelves where once there was abundance. This isn't just a minor inconvenience, it's a sign of a much larger problem. Food shortages are looming, and along with them, price hikes that will hit everyone's wallets. The time to prepare is now, before the situation becomes even more dire. Remember the early days of the pandemic? Empty shelves became a common sight, a stark reminder of our vulnerability. We are facing a similar crisis, but this time it's not a temporary disruption. The factors driving these shortages are deeply rooted and unlikely to disappear overnight. This isn't about fear-mongering, it's about facing reality. The cost of food is rising at an alarming rate, and the availability of certain staples is becoming increasingly uncertain. We need to understand why this is happening and, more importantly, what we can do about it. The American people are resilient, but we are also facing an unprecedented confluence of challenges. By understanding the forces at play, we can make informed decisions to protect ourselves and our families. The first step is acknowledging the problem. The next is taking action. The backbone of our food supply, the American farmer, is facing an onslaught of challenges. Rising costs are squeezing them from every direction. Fuel prices have skyrocketed. Fertilizer prices have soared. These rising costs are putting immense pressure on farmers. Some are being priced out of the market, others are cutting back on production. This crisis contributes to food shortages. When farmers struggle, we all feel the impact. Food becomes more expensive and harder to find. Supporting our farmers is crucial for our food security. The price of fuel is a major driver of inflation across the board, and the agricultural sector is no exception. Farmers rely heavily on diesel fuel to power their tractors, combines, and other heavy machinery. They also depend on trucks to transport their crops to processing plants and eventually to our grocery stores. When the price of fuel rises, so does the cost of everything else. Farmers are forced to pass on these increased costs to consumers in the form of higher prices for food. This creates a vicious cycle, making it even harder for families to afford the food they need. The war in Ukraine has further exacerbated the situation, disrupting global energy markets and sending fuel prices soaring. This conflict has highlighted the interconnectedness of our world and the vulnerability of our supply chains. Finding alternative energy sources and reducing our dependence on fossil fuels is essential, not just for environmental reasons, but for our economic security. The current energy crisis is a wake-up call, urging us to transition to a more sustainable and resilient energy future. Fertilizers are essential for modern agriculture, providing the nutrients that crops need to grow and thrive. However, the production of fertilizers is energy-intensive, making them susceptible to fluctuations in energy prices. As the cost of fuel has risen, so has the cost of fertilizers. This increase in fertilizer prices has had a significant impact on farmers, adding to their already strained budgets. Some farmers have been forced to use less fertilizer, which can lead to lower crop yields. Others have switched to less effective or more environmentally damaging alternatives. The fertilizer crisis is a complex issue with far-reaching consequences. It highlights our dependence on synthetic fertilizers and the need for more sustainable agricultural practices. Investing in research and development of alternative fertilizers is crucial for ensuring a stable and affordable food supply in the long run. Reducing our reliance on fertilizers will require a multifaceted approach, including promoting soil health, diversifying crops, and adopting more efficient farming techniques. It's a challenge that demands innovation and collaboration across the agricultural sector. When chickens come home to roost, the rising price of poultry and eggs. The poultry and egg industry, a staple in the American diet, is facing its own set of challenges, leading to soaring prices and dwindling supplies. The cost of feeding chickens has risen dramatically due to the factors mentioned earlier, expensive fuel and fertilizers driving up the price of grain. Adding to the woes of the poultry industry is the highly contagious avian influenza, which has ravaged flocks across the country. Millions of birds have been culled to prevent the spread of the disease, further constricting supply and driving up prices. The result? Consumers are facing sticker shock in the grocery store aisles. The price of eggs in particular has reached record highs, putting a strain on household budgets. the once affordable protein source is becoming a luxury for some. This situation underscores the fragility of our food system and the interconnectedness of various factors that can impact food prices. It's a reminder that even seemingly abundant food sources can become scarce and expensive, highlighting the need for preparedness. Beyond the farm, climate change and its impact on food security. Climate change is a long-term challenge with devastating consequences for our food supply. Extreme weather events disrupt agricultural production worldwide. These disasters lead to food shortages and price spikes. Climate change threatens livelihoods and exacerbates food insecurity globally. Addressing climate change is crucial for a stable food supply. Reducing emissions and promoting sustainable practices are essential steps. The corporate grip: how monopolies control our food supply. Increasing consolidation in the agricultural industry adds to the food crisis. A few corporations control the food supply chain, from seed production to distribution. This power concentration influences food prices and availability. They dictate terms to farmers and influence government policies. Lack of competition stifles innovation and reduces consumer choice. 4 companies control 85% of the U.S. beef processing market. This leverage suppresses prices paid to farmers and raises consumer prices. Breaking up monopolies is essential for fair prices and food security. Supporting local markets and independent grocers creates a resilient food system. Expert warnings: voices from the front lines. The looming food crisis is not a figment of the imagination, it's a reality recognized by experts who have been sounding the alarm for years. Ben Reach, the CEO of the National Corn Growers Association, recently warned that the world is facing the most serious food security crisis in modern history. John Boy Jr., a fourth-generation farmer and president of the National Black Farmers Association, has spoken out about the plight of small farmers, stating that the current system is designed to benefit large corporations at the expense of family farms. These warnings from those on the front lines of the food crisis should not be ignored. They highlight the urgency of the situation and the need for immediate action to address the root causes of food insecurity. Listening to the voices of farmers, ranchers, and agricultural experts is crucial for understanding the challenges we face and finding solutions to ensure a stable and equitable food system for all. The time to prepare is now. Practical steps for food security. The time for complacency is over. The convergence of factors threatening our food supply demands that we take proactive steps to ensure our family's well-being. Here are some practical measures you can take to enhance your food security. 1. Start a garden. Even a small garden can provide fresh, nutritious food and reduce your reliance on grocery stores. 2. Preserve your harvest. Learn how to can, freeze, dehydrate, and ferment food to extend its shelf life and have a supply of nutritious options year-round. 3. Build a pantry. Gradually stock up on non-perishable food items that your family enjoys, such as rice, beans, lentils, canned goods, and dried fruits. 4. Support local farmers. Visit farmers markets, join a community-supported agriculture program, or buy directly from local farms to support your community and access fresh seasonal produce. 5. Reduce food waste. Be mindful of expiration dates, store food properly, and get creative with leftovers to minimize food waste and stretch your grocery budget further. The future of food, a call to action. The challenges facing our food system are complex and multifaceted, but they are not insurmountable. By understanding the root causes of these challenges, we can work towards solutions that create a more just, sustainable, and resilient food future. We need to support policies that promote fair competition in the agricultural industry, break up corporate monopolies, and empower small farmers. Investing in research and development of sustainable agricultural practices, such as regenerative agriculture and agroforestry, is crucial for reducing our environmental impact and building a more resilient food system. Addressing climate change through a rapid transition to renewable energy and sustainable land management practices is essential for mitigating the risk to our food supply. We must also prioritize food security in our communities, ensuring that everyone has access to affordable, nutritious food. The future of our food system depends on our collective action. By making conscious choices as consumers, supporting policies that promote a more just and sustainable food system, and advocating for change, we can create a food future that nourishes both people and the planet. The writing is on the wall. Empty shelves are becoming a more frequent sight, and the cost of food continues to rise. This isn't a temporary blip, it's a symptom of a deeper crisis in our food system. The time to act is now, before the situation deteriorates further. Don't wait for the government to tell you what to do. Don't rely on a system that is increasingly fragile and unreliable. Take control of your family's destiny by taking steps today to ensure your food security. Start a garden, build a pantry, learn to preserve food, and support your local farmers. These actions may seem small, but they are powerful steps towards self-reliance and resilience. By taking action today, you can face the future with confidence, knowing that you have taken steps to protect your family's well-being. The future may be uncertain, but one thing is clear: those who are prepared will be in a far better position to weather the storms ahead. Don't wait until it's too late. The time to act is now.